Hello, everybody. I'm Tumultuous. I want to address a couple of things that I posted short clips about that I would like to elaborate on. And I've been shying away from the podcast a little bit, but that's just because my boy Chris has a episode when him and I just get into one of our 2 a.m. conversations, which you should definitely listen to because it's phenomenal, in my opinion. Even though it's my voice, and that's probably why I think it's phenomenal. I think it's funny because he's one of those people that I get to talk to and I can consider a friend because he's one of the very few that lets me like rudely interject and interrupt him in the middle of stuff and doesn't say a word. He just kind of chuckles at it. So for that, I thank him and consider him very, very close to me. Advice. A lot of people ask me for advice about everything. The things I hear, and I'm not going to state them because I believe that I'm not going to blow up people's spots. And even if I do mention the conversations I've had, I've never mentioned details or names or anything like that, even screen names. It's none of their business. It's none of my business to go into their lives. But I'd use it as an example sometimes. People ask me for advice all the time about everything. How do I open my third eye? I need to reach enlightenment now. It's like, oh my God. Do you even know what the third eye is? Do you? Yeah, it's seeing things that you normally don't see before. No, it's not. That's called ESP, a second sight, sixth sense. A third eye is your Ajna chakra up here. And I'm not much for chakras, and I don't do yoga, really. I know how to stretch, but I'm not about that, like, really, really into spiritual life. But I do respect everyone about it. And in it, which is why I studied and actually read about what the third eye actually is. It is a state of pure ecstasy and bliss. It is nirvana. It is reaching enlightenment. It is the absence of desire. So you desiring to reach enlightenment is already hindering you completely 180 degrees. So what a lot of people are referring to as the third eye is not really the third eye. And I want everybody to try and get that into their knowledge, into their little banks, and stop sounding like you don't sound like people that are not unintelligent. You just don't know because you've been told something that you believe because it is something that exists, but it's just the wrong name. It's like calling an apple a scooter or a motorcycle. Like it's an apple. You know what I mean? Like it's related, I guess. I guess it would be calling like an apple like a potato or a jicama. It's related, but it's not really the same thing. So what I believe is that if you're going to talk about something, you should definitely know the right term for everything. Just like there's a difference between pomodoro sauce and marinara sauce. Because if there was no difference, they would be called the same thing, blah, 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 blah sauce. But it's not. It's marinara and pomodoro. Why? Why are they called two different things? Most people don't know. Most Italians don't know, and they're both Italian words. Pomodoro is tomato. Marinara means of the sea, marine. Marine life, you know. The point is that when you make marinara sauce, use canned tomatoes versus raw tomatoes. Because when people or sailors used to go out on voyages, they couldn't take raw tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, because they would go bad. So they would have to take preserved tomatoes, which are canned tomatoes, hence marinara sauce coming from that. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, if you've known that before, that's good. Then you're probably a person that knows the difference between the third eye and the ESP. But let's just get that out of the way. What I'm talking about is advice here in general. Any kind of advice. And the way I give advice is this, is I don't really, I'll help you up. Like, if you need to get up, I'll help you up. Not necessarily standing above you or below you. I'm just standing at a ledge that I climbed up 5 minutes before you did, and you happen to need a help up, physically speaking. Instead of going down and giving you my hand, I will come back under you, like wherever you're standing, and I would kick you in the ass. Still getting you to the next step, but doing it in an unconventional fashion, because I don't believe in beating around the bush. I've taken psychology in school before, and I have a little bit of a background in it. Enough to know that how people demand to be healed or to be fixed. Fix me now. Okay, I can't just fix you now. That's what pills are for, but they don't even fix anything. And a psychologist has to fix someone's mind. You could hypnotize somebody, I believe, and probably fix them, but that's not going to really do it. The way to fix people in psychology is you have to lead them to discover their own deficiencies, their own malfunctions, and then correct it themselves. Because unless you get to the root of the problem, you're never going to get it solved. And the only way to do that is to dig by letting the person answer how they feel. This is why you always get a therapist. Well, how do you feel about it? How does it make you feel? Why do you care about how it makes me feel? Just tell me what to do. And I was like, well, I'm trying. but you're not working with me. You know what I mean? So my way of, I don't like all that shit. So my way of helping people is very unconventional and unorthodox. And the thing is most people, when they ask questions, they know the truth. They know the answer, but they don't want to hear it. They don't want to know. Like, am I being too, am I forgiving my boyfriend too much? What do you mean? Well, he beats me. He what? He abuses me physically and mentally, but God, the sex is so good after. I'm sorry for all the, you know. What do you mean? What do you mean? Are you forgiving him too? Why are you still with him? Oh, well, he says he would be like, he would die without me, and I can't just leave him like that. Now, clearly, this is a really, really like out there example, but this, first of all, this has happened. People have literally, legitimately had this conversation with me, and to when I'm just sitting there like, are you serious? Are you out of your fucking mind? And then they try to justify themselves, and then they almost argue with you into why that the advice they asked from you is not right. So am I forgiving him too much? The answer would be yes. And then they would argue to why it's not yes. So obviously they know the answer, but they don't want to hear it. So my advice and my whole speech about this is, if you really, really want advice, first look inside yourself and see if you don't already know the answer, because 99% of the time you do. And you just want validation for why not to think of it. In which case, go to a friend, go to a family member that's there to support you, and they will tell you and they will coax you as to why you're right and why it is you're not forgiving him too much. You should just do it one more time, and yada, yada, yada. But if you want honest advice, ask a stranger. Not a stranger off the street, although that wouldn't hurt either. But because more often than not, I tell strangers the most intimate details about my life. And they usually give me the best advice, and I usually take it. And I never see them again. Manhattan happens all the time. On a train, on a bus, you can talk to anyone. Just say hi. If they shy away, then fucking say hi to the next person. But they give you the best advice because they don't know you from a hole in the wall. Nor do they care about you. They don't hate you. They don't like you. They don't know you. So if you ask them an intimate question, they will think about it. They will answer, but they won't answer on their own bias. They will answer what they think you should do. So it usually is the right logical choice if you're really stumped. But most of the time, like I said, you guys already know the answer. So instead of asking for advice, just ask for validation or support. Thanks.